Okay, Commissioner Barrett, would you pray for us, please?
Yeah. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the day. I thank you for your grace and mercy. I pray that you watch over us, lead us, and guide us as we do the county's business, that we do what we need to do and do anything against you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would stand with me for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this Marshall County Fiscal Court special called meeting, July 23rd, 2024, to order. Our first guest is Paul King. He's going to be talking about our roof bids for this courthouse. It's long overdue.
So, as I assume many of you know, we took proposals last Thursday with two local contractors submitting Woodall Roofing from Murray and Minter Roofing. I guess they probably have a Benton address. Probably the closest bid results that I've had in my 30 plus years.
Yeah.
$800 on 500,000. So very close. So that just tells me that they both saw it the same way and probably used the same subcontractors, who were already the ones low. So we'd been happy with either one. I'm pleased that we recommend Minter Roofing for the project. They're partnered with Mertco HVAC to do the HVAC replacement, and under Mertco's scope is the electrical replacement up on the roof. So they are ready to move forward. I will tell you, I've never had HVAC submittal drawings in my office before we presented to the Fiscal Court for the project. So I got those yesterday. So Mertco is ready. We are still trying to work out what their timing is on delivery of units. And so we're going to hold the notice to proceed until we know that they fall within the 180 calendar days for construction. So I don't think we're not shooting for liquidated damages here, but we're going to give them sufficient time to get those units ordered, because that work is best done in cooperation with the roofing work. And the hope is that replacement occurs during the fall season, when the courthouse is kind of at its lowest point for air, whether it be heating or cooling. You know, we get days in September, October, even November, when the units probably don't run much at all during the day, and that would be the target time for that replacement. There's just one little bit. We strongly suspect that the existing roofing surfaces, or the original roofing surfaces, are covered with a 4-ply asphalt built up that most likely has asbestos within the felts. So the hope is to leave that in place, especially on the north and south ends, since they cover either a gypsum or lightweight concrete substrate. And if you try to tear those apart, oftentimes you damage the integrity of that nailable surface. So the idea is to go down to those and then overlay the new roof on top. So we need to do a little bit of testing. Minter Roofing has already contacted Audis from Calvert City to do that testing, and we already have pricing for that. And then Audis will advise Minter directly on how best to remediate it or to work around it. It'll probably come down to some procedures like a mist spray, so that we don't get any of the dust particles. And then the guys may have to wear a respirator, but then they'll be monitored to make sure their exposure's within EPA and OSHA regulations. So we don't know the exact cost for that yet. I don't see it being anything beyond 10%, probably $15,000-20,000 at the most. So, other than that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
So you're saying the remediation part, or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
that,
as
that
they-
part of it, not Audis's.
Well, their
that's all in.
involvement, it would cover their involvement, which the testing, I think, was $2,500.
Yeah.
And then whatever additional work Mentor has to do to remove that safely.
So does he stay involved
Audis?
during that process he's the
Yeah,
one?
so what they'll
that'll-
do is they'll
okay.
put a monitor on a laborer, and then they'll check that at the end of the day, see how many particles they've been exposed to.
Okay.
It may be such, we had this very similar situation at renovation recently completed at Lone Oak, well, the former Lone Oak High School, which became the middle school, now the intermediate school in McCracken. There was a environmental consultant that worked directly with Mentor in very much same process. So that's why we were comfortable recommending it this way. So, be happy to take any other questions.
Anybody else have any more questions? Okay.
So other than that, I recommend award to Mentor. They're ready to move forward. I think we've done contract reviews at this point. We're just waiting for their performance and payment bonds and certificate of insurances to move forward with contract execution.
Appreciate it. Paul has been great to work with on this. It's a pretty complex project. We've got 3 separate roofs up here, actually, and HVAC involved, electrical,
Right.
gas piping. I mean, it's a lot, but I appreciate
Yep.
keeping me updated and fully informed on everything. With all that said, do I have a,
When we approve this for Mentor, is that including the asbestos?
It does
Piece of
not.
that?
We had
That
proposed
needs
to
a
do that
different-
as a
okay.
change order.
Okay.
As I said, I don't see it being beyond 10%, probably closer to 5% of that contract amount at the most. So an additional 15 to 25,000. I don't even see it being that much.
So we just wait until we get that?
Yeah,
Awesome.
they'll probably do sampling yet this week or early next. It's only a day or 2 turnaround to get those results. And so they'll write a short report or have one. I think they were proposing to take 15 to 20 samples, so it'd be both or the surface and wall, the wall flashings.
Move we approve the Mentor roofing bid.
Second.
I need that to be, if you
Select the
would,
amount.
to accept the bid, authorize me to sign the contract, subject to insurance information being provided.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? Not? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Very good. We'll get you the
I have
contract as soon as we get
one
it.
question. We've got a contract for the initial asbestos work of $29.50. Do we need to vote on me signing that on this? It's separate from this.
What, you're talking about for the surveying,
Yes,
the testing?
yes.
That would be part of the change orders, the way I envision doing that.
Okay,
Yeah, that'll be all between Audis and Mentor.
okay, okay.
Yeah, 2950, that's what it was. I did, did want to mention, though, we have possibility for some direct purchase savings here, where you do tax savings. And we'd recommend 2 items or vendors to do that through. One would be the Beacon Supply, who will be supplying the membrane, adhesive, insulation, and fasteners. So we can do a direct to them. Just need to set up a vendor account with that. And then the other would be for, I'm not sure who's supplying the HVAC equipment, but it'd probably be a similar process where we just set that up. So,
Hold off on that then, right? We don't need to sign this other contract yet. We just need to
Well,
sign off
what
on
we
that.
would, how that handled, we would do a change order deduct for that amount, and then have the direct purchase. So the net would be the tax savings from that. So if Minner's number is, I don't know, 150,000 to Beacon, so you all would pay that direct, then you're saving the 9,000 in tax. So ultimately, you'd have just a $9,000 deduct, but we'd have to do the paperwork to make that look right.
Yeah. To authorize you to sign that, right?
I'm sorry?
The separate contract, we're going to go ahead and,
Well, no, the contract.
To do the tax
What we
savings.
asked them to do is it was bid with tax. So that's all covered. If the fiscal court chooses to go direct purchase, then we would deduct that total amount with tax from the contractor's sum. And then you end up paying the direct purchase amount, and the savings then is the tax
Right.
to the county.
so
But I would just recommend it on a big ticket item basis.
let's just wait then.
Yeah,
Wait, yeah. Okay.
yeah, we don't have that exact, well, I'm sure he probably does, but I can get that exact amount pretty quick.
Are we set up with that company already? Beacon or another, who, you had mentioned one
It's-
other.
Well, it's Beacon, I'm not sure who is supplying the HVAC
Oh,
units.
I
I don't
Oh.
believe it's thermal equipment, but I don't know.
I don't believe we are with Beacon, but anytime we've ever set up an account like that, it's not
It's not
any
bad.
issue. It
Yeah.
gets done in a
Okay.
day.
Okay.
Yeah, we forwarded that information yesterday, that what Beacon needs. So,
Okay.
yeah, it usually is not difficult.
Does anybody else have anything for Paul? Okay. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having this project completed. This roof's been leaking for several years, and it gets worse and worse, so very excited. We're there. Next
So if it's
guest.
during the fall, y'all just bring your space heaters, right? Put them under the, or maybe that's, never mind. I mean, forget that.
Yeah, that's
Might be an insurance issue.
Elena Blevins. Quarterly
morning.
update.
Morning.
Thank you, guys. I just wanted to give a quick tourism review from last fiscal year and then to kind of review our budget for this fiscal year. And then I have a fun announcement. Hopefully you guys have already heard it, but it'll be exciting to say it in the meeting. So if you can just go to the next slide. There we go. Transient tax update. So last fiscal year, we received a late June deposit for transient tax, which was nice. It actually put us a little over $420,000 in transient tax collected for the fiscal year, which I looked back, this is the most we've ever collected. So we did about $386,000 in 2016. So I think, while the new legislation definitely putting the burden of collection and remittance on third-party platforms and short-term rentals, while it's certainly not foolproof and has a lot of complications at the local level, it does seem to be working, at least in some capacity, and significant. So we believe we have about 150 short-term properties registered. However, I did just check Granicus yesterday, and it's reporting a little over 200 in Marshall County now. So obviously our lodging landscape has changed with that many short-term rental platforms, or homes, throughout the county. We used to be primarily resorts and cabins and cottages within those resorts, and now we have quite an abundance of short-term rentals. So Airbnb is still non-compliant with Kentucky state law, so we are advising people use other third parties such as VRBO or Evolve. Evolve is probably the most recommended to use because they actually provide us with the most information at the local level, which we appreciate. All right, next slide. Marketing highlights for the year, we focused on our traditional media medium platforms, digital campaigns, Facebook, social media. We did do print ads. We are running a digital billboard campaign right now in St. Louis market, Southern Illinois. We're doing radio streaming, and then of course those printed materials. We also focused specifically on some of the events. So when the solar eclipse happened, we ran some specific marketing during that time. Our messaging has mostly been focused on fishing and the return of the fishery. However, we've also focused a little bit, again, just on disconnecting and reconnecting, which is pretty true to our brand. And then we also are starting to see messaging of maybe just considering a vacation a little bit closer to home. It seems like some family budgets are being impacted right now, and that travel is, it's sort of happening in a shorter window. The time frame with which people are choosing to travel now is usually within 30 days, whereas it used to be months in advance. And now it's sort of like, hey, we have a little extra money this month, let's get away for the weekend. So they don't seem to be planning as far ahead as normal, and they don't seem to be going as far as normal if they live on a budget. So we are sort of encouraging staycations and vacationing a little bit closer to home. Next slide. Some interesting analytics. This is just from a visitor profile research database that we have access to. So that top slide is our visitor economy index. It does show quite a bit of growth year over year for those spring months, which is a good indicator that the fishery is on the rebound, and that is officially starting to gain traction, especially word of mouth, because this was really before we hosted a big tournament. The Tackle Warehouse happened in April, so it was already kind of on an upward trend. Now you do see June there as a decline. I think fishing had sort of, alleged fishing was still popular at that time, but it's sort of out of that season window. And we had some very rainy weekends throughout May and June, and I do think that impacted people's willingness to travel to the lake and kind of get out on the water. And then that bottom is just a month-to-month kind of, it's our visitor to resident ratio. So it does show where during those specific months, I mean, we are over the benchmark from the national sort of standard of visitors to our area, especially during these peak sort of travel months. Next slide. These are just our top 20 origin markets, which are super tiny on there. But it's Evansville, Southern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, Nashville, Louisville, St. St. Chicago, and then it kind of trickles down from there. But the top 5 origin markets that we see at accommodations within our county, St. Louis seems to be the #1 market this year, Champaign, Springfield, Decatur, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Evansville, Indiana, and then Paducah, Cape, and Mount Vernon. So again, it kind of argues that people are, they're staying a little bit closer to home. They still want to get away for the weekend, but they don't want to get too far. Next slide. Back in June, they released their 2023 economic impact numbers, and we just barely edged out what we did over 2022. So another record-breaking year for Marshall County in tourism. Last year, or 2022, we did $85.4 million, and in 2023, we did $86.4 million. In economic impact. So we created a little bit more, over 733 jobs there, $20 million in labor income, $6.2 million in state and local taxes. So we certainly had an impact locally and throughout the region as far as getting outside dollars into the local economy. So that was exciting. Next slide. These are some of the events that we sponsored. We paid a little over $60,000, almost $60,000 in our own operating budget, but then we also, because of some of the ARPA funding, we were able to host the Toyota Series and the Tackle Warehouse Invitational, which were kind of in a separate pot of money, but allowed us to sponsor that as well. So we tried to really sort of balance our sponsorships based on local and sort of bigger impact events. So you'll see things locally as far as, the community events that Aurora does, to the rodeo in Benton, but then we also hosted, like I said, the Tackle Warehouse, which had the largest streaming audience, the most streaming views of any Tackle Warehouse event they've ever done. So they were very, very pleased with the results of that tournament. So, next slide. All right, I'll take a break from, if you'll just sit right there, and I will, I did pass out our budget, so if you'll take a second to look at that. We did have a rollover, and this is somewhat intentional. We had a rollover partly because of the late in the month for the June for that last transient tax, which is a good thing because we're actually able to reallocate and reinvest those dollars in this fiscal year in our marketing budget. So that was it. It's a good thing. But so we did have a rollover, and that rollover also includes our $75,000. We do have an emergency contingency fund, sort of a reserve now, coming out of COVID and not really having anything to rely on. Definitely sort of led us to believe that we needed a little bit set aside for emergencies. But also just for long-term future goal planning, if a project or some type of development comes up that we're able to sort of contribute to, that way we've already started, we have some money set aside to where we might be able to help in that sense. So, but that's our rollover. Matching funds, that is a state it's a travel marketing incentive program, so whenever we place advertising, we can apply for reimbursement. So we are allotted a certain amount based on an algorithm that the state gives us. We did budget $375,000 in local transient tax again. Hopefully that's kind of a low number based on what we did this year, but when we were putting the budget together, that seemed like a solid number to kind of depend on for this fiscal year. And then you also see their rental income. Of course, that's where the chamber and KLED pay us rent to be in our office, as well as we have some other travel guides. When we do our printed guide, we sell spots to advertise in there. So we're anticipating revenue to be at about $551,500. This does put us over a $500,000 threshold in revenue, so we are at that cap to where we will have to start having audits every year. So we've just finished up this one, and we'll launch this for this past fiscal year as well. And then under expenses, you've got total administrative. That includes things, bookkeeping, compliance monitoring, insurance, things like that. Our total advertising support, we actually had to flip-flop our marketing and our sponsorship. We were approached to sponsor so many fishing tournaments this year that usually our marketing budget is a little bit over $100,000 when it's under media. But this year we really needed that money to go towards sponsorships. So our total sponsorships, which is included in that advertising support, is about $110,000. And then there's some additional things in advertising support, such as promotional and marketing materials, public relation type things, shipping and postage, travel shows, or web development. That's all considered advertising support. The media is the actual ads that we place in marketing. So we've got print, digital, streaming, radio ads, all of that. That's at about $73,000. But I can already say, because we had that rollover, we'll be able to boost that number, that $73,000, we'll be able to boost that up a little bit. We'll have to amend our budget. And then under building expenses, standard, to pay for the building, utilities, property taxes, any kind of renovations or repairs that we might need. And then payroll. That includes 1 full-time person, 2 part-time employees, and then withholdings, retirement benefits for that at $138,050. And then you see our reserve line there. And then so that gives us a balanced budget of $551,500. So that's what we're kind of anticipating for this fiscal year. If there's any questions about that. Otherwise, I'll kind of move into a few upcoming things for this fiscal year. So next slide. Upcoming dates, we are helping Calvert sponsor their first ever hot air balloon, the Calvert City Balloon Glow. So we're using some of the ARPA dollars. We could use those to put on new events, and so we'll be able to kind of help sponsor this event in a big way. So mark your calendars for September 13, 14. I checked the Facebook event. It's a couple thousand people interested in the event. So anticipating a big turnout for that. We have the Outdoor Media Conference at the end of September. So we are working and planning on that. I do need local anglers, so if you know of anybody, have them call me. We are sponsoring the 2024 Calvert City River Folk Fest. Their live bluegrass music is becoming a bluegrass event. We also sponsored the Sailfest Regatta, another kayak. And then in the spring, though, there's going to be spring and summer. We've got some pretty big things happening. And probably the big one is we landed a stage on the Bass Pro Tour, which is really exciting. It's going to put us on the national stage at a level that we have never been at before. The last time we hosted anything close to this was in 2018 for the FLW Tour, and this was before they were acquired by Major League Fishing. So it didn't have the network and the broadcasting with it. So Kentucky Lake is going to be on the national stage, which is really, really exciting for our area, for our community. And we the way that they structure these events now is you actually have the live event, which will have its own amount of economic impact and tremendous sort of impressions as far as when the pros are here and they're posting on social media that they're here. And, there's a lot of exposure within the event itself, but it actually won't air until the fall, winter of 2025. So we kind of get hit twice, and so people on TV will actually be seeing it later in the year, which hopefully will incentivize and encourage them to book their trip for the spring of 2026. So there's a few other tournaments that I can't quite mention yet. Those dates haven't been released, but they also have great exposure as well. And then I will say the USA Bassin Championship Week. This is a completely different circuit. It's not affiliated with Major League Fishing in any way, but this organization, he brings basically 3 championships back to back. So we'll have about 500 anglers here for about a 10-day period because he's here basically the last weekend in April, the first weekend in May, and so they're here for a very extended period of time. So it's a great event. We signed a 2-year contract with them, so they'll be here this year and next year. So I think last slide is just some of the multi-jurisdictional ARPA projects that we're part of. So these are all marketing campaigns that we have joined. Kentucky After Dark, the West Kentucky Wine Trail, we've got 2 of our local wineries on there. The Disc Golf Trail, we actually just hosted our tournament at Mike Miller, and they had 90 participants, which that was the max that they could accommodate, so it completely sold out. I went out and watched them, and they had amateurs and pros out there, so it was kind of a fun event. Just Add Water focuses on all outdoor water recreation. We had a photo shoot with that, did some fishing, got some fun splash pad sequences and things like that. Kentucky Horsepower focuses on the water, what horsepower in Kentucky looks like on the water, on the track, and on the road. So we covered the rodeo and our tournament fishing. The West Kentucky Barbecue Belt, we are featuring our local barbecue joints on this trail. The Kentucky Sports Alliance, which promotes sports throughout Kentucky and helps us recruit new sporting events to the state and to our area, and then the Brew Hop Trail. So those are just a few highlights, a few campaigns that are going to be going on through the end of 2024. So, and then I think that's all I got today. So unless there's any questions for me.
How many days is that Bass Pro Tour? Usually, how long are they here?
It's the 2nd through the 5th, I believe. Yeah, 2nd through the 5th. So they're here. I mean, the actual competition, I think, is 3 or 4 days. And then, of course, but they're here for several days before that. I mean, now the actual pool is smaller. It's not 150 anglers. I think it's only like 50. But they're the pros of the pros of the pros. So, just all of them with their social media following, there's an extended amount of exposure in media that comes with hosting an event like this. We're really excited about it. Actually, and I got some texts.
Is it CBS, like CBS-N or NBC, or one of those?
Yeah,
it's one of those networks.
I think it's NBC Sports, but I can confirm.
Sports, yeah.
So I did get a couple of texts as soon as it was announced. They announced it at ICAST last week in Orlando, Florida, and people were immediately like, is it our end of the lake? Because I do think Paris has hosted a similar event in the past, and I was really, really excited to be able to say, no, this is happening at the north end, the best end of Kentucky Lake. So, yeah. Any other questions for me? Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Exciting things happening. Okay, Sheriff Hilbrecht, I notice you have several deputies here. I'll turn this over to you.
We have quite a few. It looks kind of scary in that corner back there, but I wanted to just address the court that last meeting we had. Since then, MCA's began the install on the repeaters and the mobile radios in the patrol cars, and that has been phenomenal. These guys are here to basically express their thanks to Judge Sprague's, all the work that you've done behind the scenes, and Commissioner McGuire been instrumental in getting this done. You know, he started this project when he was sheriff, and, you know, due to circumstances at that point in time in the court, we weren't able to get that project done. But it has moved forward tremendously just since this first phase. These guys now tell me they have service in locations we haven't had in years. So we're here to say thank you. These guys are here to thank the court, to just express our extreme gratitude. As you all know, that's our lifeline back to dispatch, and it's been needed for years now, and some locations that have been really dangerous for us. And we appreciate all you guys who have done, and we also want to thank Brian Andrews behind the scenes.
Yeah, Brian's been very instrumental in this. He's a West Marshall fire chief, and he agreed to do some consulting for us on this free of charge. We started working on this in June of '22, before we even took office in our current roles, Matt. And
Absolutely.
myself and Sheriff Hilbrecht and Commissioner McGuire and Brian Andrews sat down at the table and tried to come up with a solution for this. It had full support of the fiscal court all along the way to make this possible. And this will be a three-phase project, and the way it's going, I'm hoping we'll have all three phases done this year, and it should just get better with each phase even.
Absolutely. And yeah, we're here to say in phase one, we are shocked at how well it's working just in this first phase. And without a doubt, as the three phases are completed, it's going to be a phenomenal system. And might add, it was done at a fraction of the cost that the last judge executive was looking at. And we are very, very gracious. So we're just here to say thank you. I don't know if any of these guys want to say anything back here. They're, you know, pretty timid, quiet guys.
I'm not shy.
Anybody but Martin.
We've known each other a long time, and I just appreciate it a lot. We had a really bad call, Paradise Point, and I couldn't get out, couldn't tell anybody. Full battle rattle, suppressed AR, everything was involved. And after this first initial install, 44 went down there and called out from the exact location I was standing at, and I could hear him, and I was in Calvert City at the time, and I could hear him. And then we went further south and we could still hear him. So it works so far. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a big deal with those elevations. Once you get right at the lake and you lose 50 feet of elevation, that's where they were at.
I'd like to say thank you. I was the first one to get the install done, and as soon as I did, I took off. I went to Aurora, Moores, I went, I think, 15 locations. And for the first time in years, I was able to get out. Dispatch was able to hear me. I was able to hear them. The other units was able to hear me, and it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling. And I thank you and my family. Thank all of y'all.
Thank you all for all you do. I can say this court is unanimous in supporting you all and giving you the best equipment we possibly can. We've done that. We'll continue to do that, and we'll get this project complete, and I can't wait to see how great it is when all three phases are in place. But we're very, very happy with the results so far. We're adding an additional tower site in Brewers, so that's kind of a work in progress on that. So that's going to help a lot in that area as well. So, Sheriff, you got anything else on that?
No, I'm just very proud of the work the court has done on it, and very grateful. We all sleep better tonight knowing these guys have the lifeline they need, and it's a crucial piece of equipment for us, and we all rely on it every single day, and we're just very grateful. I want to express that to you guys.
I was doing a little research last night, and I think this has been kind of an ongoing problem for about 15 years.
I was going to say that it's an issue that preceded anyone that's on this fiscal court. So it took, I know, Commissioner McGuire and I have talked about this. It probably took longer than what a lot of people wanted it to, and I understand that. But I will say thank you for those who helped, Judge, Commissioner McGuire, Brian, Sheriff, because it does take time to get the right system. So that's definitely not something in my wheelhouse, and that's why I love the way that our court is made up now, where I don't have to. Someone else knows that, or we pull in someone else. And I know one of your guys has reached out, and it was good to hear about government actually working like it's supposed to. So this is the way it's supposed to happen. It does take time, but and a lot of effort. So I appreciate all of you, and obviously we apologize for the length of time, but it sounds like we're getting there. So thank y'all.
It took us about 6 months to get the equipment in, once we made the commitment on this. So believe you me, I wish this hadn't taken as long as it has taken, but good news is we're there.
Yep.
So thank everyone for full support from the court on this project. And this project, just under $1 million, and about 50% of that, we obtained a Homeland Security grant. So the other half we funded with no debt, and so very happy with that. We're doing a lot of great things. But once again, thank you all for all you do. We appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
Now go get to work.
Get back to work.
You think about that's two huge check marks that we can say just in this meeting that we've gotten accomplished, is that roof and that radio system are two huge infrastructure things that's kind of been kicked down the road for
Absolutely.
for years, and we've been able
Absolutely.
to get it done in this budget cycle.
And the roof, that's a $500,000 project, and once again, we're paying for that, no debt. So we're doing some great things. I'm very, very proud to be a part of this court and everything we're accomplishing. Okay, next up, Brittany Moss, Park Director.
I've got all kinds of stuff today. I feel like I just kept emailing Corey about every other day. Add me again. So we'll start with the change order, if that's okay, on the fishing pier. The one thing that did come up is the railing, as it was bid, was not going to be white. I really wanted to make sure that it was still going to be aesthetically pleasing. So to get that done in white is going to be an additional $2,500. So we just needed to do a change order on the approved amount to add the white railing.
Brittany called me about that, and we discussed that. There are a lot, I've actually done a couple of wedding ceremonies there. There's a lot of things like that where there's photographs and stuff, and I said,
Homecoming and prom and
yeah, I mean, and on and on. So I think from that standpoint, personally, I agree with her on that.
What color was it
I
going to be?
think Commissioner McGuire just goes out there and takes pictures of
I do,
himself.
of
too,
myself,
so it's gonna
selfies
look-
mostly, yeah.
Right,
Yes.
just
Selfies
yourself.
mostly, yeah.
So originally, the way it was stated, it was going to just be the silver aluminum.
I got you.
So the decking on this is, like we talked about, this is going to be like out at Rocky Point, the through flow decking, which is fantastic. It's a light gray color, but it is that through flow. So we're not going to have all of the constant marks and animal issues and other things that pile up on that white solid surface that we had before. So the through flow decking is going to be fantastic in that light gray color. So then doing the silver aluminum railing was just going to look very cold, very just industrial looking. So I think putting it with the white railing will kind of help soften that transition a little bit. You'll still have white railing, but it's still going to be aluminum. That's going to be way more durable and way more safe for people on the pier as well.
I would move to do the change order to change the rails to white for the $2,500.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Next up, we have got, it is time to renew our agreement with Dynamo. Last year was the first year that we entered into a use agreement with the Dynamo organization for priority use on our soccer fields. I cannot say enough about what an improvement that was, I think, for all parties. The Dynamo organization has been absolutely fantastic to work with over the past year, and it really has helped us to build more of a partnership. We both have a vested interest in the use of our fields, the quality of our fields, and that has become a great partnership between the Parks Department and Dynamo. So we did not make any changes to this same agreement that we had in place last year, but we just want to renew that for another year.
Move we renew the field use contract with Dynamo.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
Did, I think I got maybe one call of somebody that had got bumped off the field. Was there a lot of that?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
A couple of incidents here and there, but it was
Yeah.
not, we didn't get hounded, with constant issues. No.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I had that one call and that was.
Right,
That was
yes.
it,
I
so.
think that really was probably the only one that there seemed to be an issue with
Yeah.
throughout the year, so.
Anybody else? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and last but not least, I'm really excited about this. We had our intern that was with us from Belmont last year that came to work on the Miracle League. That was such a huge thing for us. We hadn't had interns before at the park, which kind of led me down this path of wanting to explore more options to see what else was available to us. So we have got an affiliation agreement that we have reached with Murray State. Jason has reviewed this and has helped make some changes. President Jackson has signed off on the affiliation agreement, so we wanted the court's approval. This would essentially put us in an affiliation agreement with the following areas at Murray State. We could receive interns from exercise science, nutrition and dietetics, public and community health, occupational therapy, and the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So within that scope, we could receive interns. My idea is that we would start to develop a lot of different types of programming at the park that we really don't have the background in. I would love to see us branch out and offer some types of health and wellness offerings for the community. Just like Reagan, was with us. We could do things with the Miracle League, potentially offering programs for seniors, maybe some after-school type things. But having those interns from Murray State would allow us the opportunity to have the manpower and kind of the wheels turning behind this to get us going in that direction. So really excited about this opportunity and just wanted to get your approval to enter into this affiliation agreement.
So was this that Dr. Jackson signed after whatever?
Yes, after the
Suggestions you made.
changes that Jason made, yes.
I just had just a few little small things, and they agreed to it, so.
Well, I move we approve the contract with Murray State University.
Second.
Motion second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You got anything else?
I also will mention that we have just finished up our baseball and softball season. Huge season for us. We hosted a ton of games out at the park. That went wonderfully. We are getting ready to gear up for soccer season starting back. And then we are also getting ready to start sending stuff out about our fall Miracle League season as well. So lots of things are happening and going on at the park. It's busy, which is a great thing. And so stay tuned because, we also, do you mean to mention what we're doing together too? Okay, so in case you don't know, and I feel like I've bragged on them before, but I'm going to do it again, the Sheriff's Office has been fantastic about really wanting to get involved in the community, and they were at every single one of our Play in the Park events this summer. Out there playing with the kids. I saw Matt get absolutely soaked by a fire truck hose. He was out there doing water relays with the kids, and a lot of the other deputies were as well. So that's fantastic. So the latest thing is partnering with the Sheriff's Office and us with the Calvert City Drive-In. We're going to do a back-to-school night for kids out at the Calvert City Drive-In. They're going to be posting more information about that, but that's going to be August 11th. A lot of free activities for kids. The deputies are going to be out there with their vehicles for kids. We are going to host a photo booth for kids. So they're going to have a great, fun family family-friendly movie that night, but that's just one more thing that we are partnering with and the sheriff's office is getting in on, just more ways to provide recreation opportunities for our communities, and especially those that maybe haven't been able to afford to take vacations and do fun things with their kids in the summer. We're always looking for opportunities to give our residents ways to get involved through things like that. So lots more to come. I am sure you'll be hearing more from me, but for today, that finishes up my long list of things. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Next item, June personnel changes. Mr. Pagel?
All right, good morning. June personnel changes for you. Alyssa Williams, dispatcher, laid off 6/7/24. Susan Stone, deputy clerk, effective 6/1/24 at $19 an hour. Bruce Rucker, SRO to part-time court security, effective 6/1/24 at $15 an hour. Adriana Sainsbury, dispatcher, resigned, effective 6/23/24. Chloe Hinkie, term 6/27/24. Dispatcher. Trace Croft, deputy jailer, termed 6/14/24. Chris Dimitri, deputy jailer, effective 6/11/24 at $15 an hour. That is it.
Jail commissary report, Erica?
The jail has to provide to the court a commissary report every year. That's on your drive. There's nothing that says that you have to accept this as far as there's not a vote that's required. It's just part of the statute that the jailer provides this to you. Of course, that is an account that's entirely ran by the jailer. I can try to get any information you want to know about it, but it's not something that comes through my office.
The only question I had is just the interest seems small for that large of a balance. Is it sitting in a?
It is not in an account that I have access to. So that makes me think that it is likely probably not falling under our contract. And so
Okay.
I will look into that and
Yeah.
hopefully we can get them the interest rate we get.
I mean, just based on the interest rate that we get, it should be 10 times that.
Yeah, I'll check into that with Roger. I'm not even sure where he may not have his account even with the same bank that we do.
Okay.
So
Well, it
I'll
needs
get
to
with
be-
Roger about that after the meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the July 9th special called meeting minutes.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The dispatch agreement that we approved at the last meeting, just need a motion to make the agreement approved at the July the 9th meeting retroactive to July 1st.
So move.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need to reschedule the September 6th fiscal court, special called fiscal court meeting.
Yeah, I'm gone that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
September 6th. What about September 9th? Monday?
Could we do, I got court morning and afternoon. What about Tuesday afternoon, the 10th?
I could do it later. I have a 9 to 11 commitment already on the 10th.
Do an afternoon one.
1 o'clock?
That'll work for everybody else. It's fine with me.
Do one.
Huh?
1 o'clock work?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 o'clock worked better for me, but 1 o'clock, if that's what everybody needs, that's fine.
I can do either. Later the better too for me, so I can get out of bed.
You good with 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's see here. So need a motion to reschedule the 9/6 meeting to 9/10 10
10.
at 3 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff's purchases. Matt, I'll let you and Erica talk about that.
Sure. I think I sent an email out, and commissioners are aware of what I'm asking for here. Long and short, we're in need of some new cruisers. We had carryover money from last budget cycle, so that is very good news. So my request is to take money out of the carryover money to purchase 4 Durangos. We'd have to, of course, put that out for bid, but roughly that would be about $171,600 for the purchase. To upfit those 4 would be about an additional $60,000. And also out of that carryover money, as you guys know, body-worn cameras has been a big issue since I took over as sheriff. We were awarded a grant through the Small Rural Tribal Grant Program, which is with the Bureau of Justice. We're going to get, it looks like, $38,000 on that grant. The body-worn cameras that we're looking at are, for 20 of them, would be $90,000. So that's not quite half, but it is a chunk, and we're happy to have it. So I'd also ask for the additional $90,000. So total, I was looking for $321,600. I feel like I'm probably okay on the $1,600, so I was just going to ask for $320,000 of the carryover money to be added back to our budget, amended in, so that we can make the purchase of the vehicles, upfit those, and also move forward with the body-worn camera grant.
That is on the budget amendment that we're going to read, as long as you all are comfortable with it.
Do we need to take any action since we've got a budget amendment pertaining to that?
I'd probably need to make a motion to put the vehicles out for bid.
Yeah.
I'd just move for bid for Ford. You want Durango specifically? Or?
Though, for the price, that's probably, I feel like, the best product that we get. The Charger, we've had a lot of problem out with Chargers.
Everybody
Chargers
has.
are a little cheaper, but
Yeah.
I've had a lot of issues with them.
They're not worth it.
I think the only thing you need to do now is just do the bid, put it out for bid.
Yeah, I'd move to bid for the 4 police Dodge Pursuit Chargers, or Dodge Pursuit Durangos.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? I'd just like to say I'm very happy, once again, we're moving forward, paying cash for things and
Absolutely.
not leasing, not financing, so that makes me smile. I appreciate your efforts on that, Matt and Erica and everybody. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
I move for a short recess.
Your second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, enterprise vehicles. As you all know, we've been paying things off as we go. We had some funds available from a FEMA claim 5 years ago that Erica received the other day, totaling $59,000. Like to use those funds to pay off 3 of the enterprise vehicles, the sanitation vehicle. That will help them. That'll give them nearly an additional $600 a month in cash flow. That'll help them out substantially. The other 2 vehicles are the black F-150 out here and the GIS F-150 also. So, a motion from the court to
So move.
pay those off. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Advertise for bid. Mr. Kurtner, our EM director, had applied for a grant. It's a 50-50 match for a new EM vehicle. We received the grant. That was great news there. I just need a motion to advertise for bids for the new EM vehicle.
So move.
Is there a second? Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bids for the communication towers. We received that, let's see, from MCA. And let me grab that here from Corey. Y'all should have received a copy of that. That's going to be our tower work, our voters. That includes adding the additional site at Brewers. That'll be a 4th location that will help us a lot in that area. Total on that bid is $90,440.41.
Did we have a specific amount in the budget for that, or was it just included in the
It was included in the
communications?
total that we budgeted.
Is it around what we thought it was going to be, or I don't even remember us really thinking.
That part of it, I mean, I hate to say anything till we're done, but we're kind of on track to be substantially under budget with
Okay.
this project. Even if we've applied for, Brian Andrus also applied for a grant for us for the handheld radios. We're waiting to see if we get those. But with what we have budgeted for this project, including this, if we don't get the grant, we can still purchase those radios and still be under budget. So this whole project, as we've already heard, is a huge success already, and even going to come in under budget. It's looking like substantially. So
Move we approve the bid for the tower.
Second.
motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Andy's going to read a new hire at 911. I just want to give a shout out to our new director, Lou Legacy. He's doing a great job keeping us updated on things and doing a great job with our employees and department heads. I know he's in constant communications with Kurt, with Matt, with myself and Andy, and he's really doing a great job there. We appreciate it. Mr. Pagel?
Okay. So we have a part-time, hopefully joining us full-time in a couple of months, Andrea Starks, dispatcher. She's already been through academy and everything.
Need a motion to approve. Motions or second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Effective August 1st, I'm sorry.
Amended motion, August 1st, motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, resolution, election security grant. Need a motion to approve and sign. This is a up to $8,300 grant that would include privacy booths for voting.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, CFSB line of credit. They reached out to us to see if we wanted to extend that. That was a $1 million line of credit we had. We did extend that. I think our first term in office, not knowing what we may receive or not receive. We still, FEMA still owes us a substantial amount of money, but we're in good shape. We budgeted the paving at Cambridge Shores. That's one reason we kind of extended that line of credit, because we wasn't sure how things were going to fall in place, but we're paying for that. So one of these days we'll get that reimbursement, and that'll be like a Christmas gift we weren't expecting. So hopefully it will be anyway. So with that said, is there any desire to renew that line of credit for any reason
I
from
move
anyone?
that we allow it just to mature and be done with it.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We certainly appreciate them working with the court through the tornado and meeting all of our needs there, because I'm going to tell you, I was sitting in here as a commissioner, and that was a sick feeling when we found out what this was going to cost, and not knowing what we were going to be out of pocket or anything. That was some sleepless nights, to say the least. Anyway. Ordinance 2024-07, budget amendment, first reading. Erica?
Ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds, now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for the fiscal year 2024, 2025 is amended to A, increase, decrease the following revenue accounts. Cash balance July 1st, Sheriff Fund, $320,000. Cash balance July 1st, General Fund, $156,951.66. Court rental, $19,665 for a total increase of revenue accounts of $496,616.66. B, increase the following expenditure accounts. Sheriff's auto expense, new car leases, $230,000. Sheriff's grant equipment, $90,000. Dock, $78,000. Fiscal Court enterprise vehicle lease, $59,051.66. Election equipment, $18,000. County park improvement projects, $1,900. General fund investments, $19,665 for a total increase of expenditure accounts of $496,616.66. The amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes, approved by the Marshall County Fiscal Court the 23rd day of July, 2024.
Okay, transfers.
Okay, on your appropriation transfers, we have one to cover, our earthquake policy came in a little bit over what we had anticipated, as well as our code red invoice. And so we have some appropriation transfers to cover those, as well as moving our ARPA money from where it lives to each individual project in Oak Level is the one that needs movement here. Transient tax transfer of $40,680.50.
Need a motion to approve the appropriation transfer.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do you have any bank transfers?
I do. I put bank transfers on here. They're all our occupational tax transfers to our funds that are subsidized by occupational tax, and they're all for amounts that are within the subsidy. Obviously, we're at the beginning of the year here, so we're just starting out.
We approve the bank transfers.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation and personnel per KRS 61-810 1C and F.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Corey's checking with Erica on something real quick. In the meantime, let's see.
If anyone is interested, I'll be testifying at the Housing Task Force Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern, so 12 o'clock. So make sure, turn on KET.
KET.
Yeah,
I'll share it on Facebook for you.
yeah.
One other note, Judge, Marshall County is losing one of its single young ladies at the end of this week.
Oh,
Somebody's
Lord.
getting married.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Miss Boatwright.
Oh.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations. It's congratulations, right?
Where is the wedding?
We're all invited. I mean, at this point, it sounds like everybody is.
Oh, what time's the rehearsal down?
Boat ride's paying.
Yeah, was Ryan paying for the supper we're gonna go eat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it would be if he's paying.
Might be some bad bobs.
Hey, whatever.
Catfish.
Yeah. I'll take some fried bologna.
Yeah.
Give Erica
Absolutely.
just a second. In the meantime, I need a motion for an appropriations transfer for $3,000 to transition from Code Red to HyperReach.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so the question was, the original amount budgeted in that account?
This budget for Code Red or HyperReach.
We budgeted in that account $19,430.
We should have enough to cover both.
The bill on it was, on the bills was 20,000 and change.
That was more, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
That's why we had a transfer already.
Okay,
I remember hearing code red.
okay, so we're good. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.